Canada must be one. Canada must be progressive. And Canada must be a just society.
A powerful beginning nearly a dozen years ago, and a surprise ending today, the end of the Trudeau era.
There's no easy way or ideal time to leave, and there are always strong public and private reasons, both for going and for staying on. Our party has a large and growing plurality of support from Canadians. I know that before too long they will call on our party to govern Canada. I feel it's time for a new leader to take up this work.
Good evening, I'm Knowlton Nash. It came as a political thunderclap this morning when Pierre Trudeau announced he was quitting. It's the end of an era in Canada, the departure of perhaps the most exciting and the most exasperating political leader this country has ever had. With me is Peter Mansbridge, and together with our CBC News colleagues, we'll be exploring the implications of the Trudeau resignation, how it happened, why, and what happens next. There was a rare, if not astonishing, sight in the House of Commons where the members unanimously and exuberantly supported a motion of gratitude and appreciation for Trudeau put forward by Prime Minister Clark.
Would like permission of the House to move under Standing Order 43, a motion seconded by the Honourable Member from Winnipeg North Centre, that this House express its gratitude and appreciation to the Right Honourable the Leader of the Opposition for his service to this House, to his party and his country, and express its hope that he will continue as the Right Honourable Member for Mount Royal to contribute his formidable talents to Parliament and to Canada.
The Right Honourable the Leader of the Opposition.
It's an irony of our profession, and we're all aware of it, all of us who sit on the floor of the House, I suppose including yourself, Mr. Speaker, that people only really begin to admit our qualities when we're on the way out. It's a kind of convention with which we are all acquainted, and when we hurl insults at each other, we know that in reality we have a fair amount, perhaps a great deal of admiration for people who, like ourselves, decided to ask Canadians and their constituency to support them in a task which is sometimes thankless and certainly always nearly exhausting. And we know that, that underneath the partisanship that we must show, that there's a basic underlying admiration for each other, if only because we've agreed to serve our countries in the same way, in the same forum.
I'd like to thank, in particular, my colleagues, especially those from my province. They've always supported me. I would like to repeat what I said in caucus this morning, that I would always be ready to help in the fight to make Canada a strong and united land.
Well, now the question arises, what happens next? Among other things, Peter, Trudeau's resignation would appear to put off any federal election that the Conservatives may have been thinking about for the spring.
There's no doubt they were thinking about an early election, quite possibly in the early spring. It's off now for, I think, two reasons. First of all, to have an election, they would have needed prodding from the Liberals, either another non-confidence motion or whatever. That's not going to happen now. The Liberals, obviously minus a leader, aren't going to try and provoke an election. And the second reason is the Liberals will have a leader in March. He'll come in with that new wave of popularity that traditionally comes with a new leader, and I'd be very surprised if the Tories would want to try and challenge the Liberals then. So I think it's off for at least a year, next fall at the earliest.
But the biggest and the most immediate question, of course, is the choosing of a new leader.
That's right. The leadership convention will be in March, and this weekend we'll likely know just when and where. It's a decision the national executive of the Liberal Party is expected to make when they meet in Ottawa on Saturday. As for candidates, well, no one is officially in the race yet, but there are some names to be watching. Going from west to east, Vancouver's Art Phillips, former mayor, now Liberal MP. Winnipeg's Lloyd Axworthy, another freshman MP who's made a good impression so far. Thunder Bay's Bob Andrus, a solid performer in the last Liberal cabinet and one who's kept that image in opposition. From Ottawa, Jean-Luc Pepin, former cabinet minister, former National Unity Task Force chairman, now on a political comeback. From Quebec, Francis Fox, the problems that led to his resignation as Solicitor General will haunt him, but aren't expected to stop him from making a bid. Jean Chrétien, the former finance minister, has a strong following in both English and French Canada. Alan McEachen, Atlantic Canada's leadership possibility, although at 58 he may be too old. But of course, two men are really the front runners. They're both former Trudeau finance ministers. They both quit politics once. But today, John Turner and Donald MacDonald didn't rule out the possibility of trying again.